So, Sophie Cunningham, it happened again. The WNBA have fined her again.
Well, the WNBA fined me for
Nose.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Hello and welcome back, RACKET-X Army. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I have another exciting and interesting video for you, and I hope you enjoy every minute of it. Be sure to stay until the end because you won't want to miss what's coming next. With that said, let's jump straight into today's story. Sophie Cunningham has become the center of a controversy that is shaking the WNBA and sparking heated debate across the basketball world. While she has acknowledged and respected the history of the league and the efforts that helped build it, her recent comments have placed her in direct conflict with league officials. The controversy began after she posted a TikTok video criticizing referees following a game filled with questionable calls. The post resulted in an immediate $500 fine, surprising many fans and players. Rather than backing down, Cunningham later expanded on her concerns during a podcast appearance, openly discussing what she described as widespread frustration among players regarding officiating standards. That decision led to an additional $1,500 fine, bringing her total penalties to $2,000. Instead of silencing the discussion, however, the fines fueled even greater attention. Social media erupted with support for Cunningham, hashtags began trending, and fans questioned what they saw as inconsistencies in the league's disciplinary actions. Many pointed out that other high-profile players have not faced similar penalties despite drawing significant attention and criticism. Supporters quickly launched fundraising efforts that covered Cunningham's fines within hours, while petitions calling for greater transparency and accountability in officiating gained thousands of signatures. For many observers, the issue has grown beyond a simple disagreement over referee calls and now reflects broader concerns about fairness, player expression, and league governance. Cunningham's situation has become symbolic of a larger debate about whether athletes should be free to openly criticize aspects of the game without fear of punishment. Comparisons have also been made to the NBA, where outspoken figures such as Charles Barkley and Draymond Green have built reputations for their candid opinions and criticism. In contrast, critics argue that the WNBA appears less tolerant of public dissent, creating questions about the culture the league wants to promote. Ironically, the attempt to discourage Cunningham's criticism may have achieved the opposite effect by drawing even more attention to the officiating concerns she raised. Many fans have argued that the league seems more willing to penalize comments than to address questionable on-court incidents, particularly those involving star players. Cunningham herself acknowledged that officiating is a difficult job and that referees, like everyone else, make mistakes. However, she maintained that open discussion and accountability are important for the growth of the sport. As support for her continues to grow, the controversy has evolved into a significant moment for the WNBA, raising important questions about transparency, fairness, and the balance between league authority and player freedom of expression. What are officials doing when obvious calls directly in front of them are repeatedly missed? That question extends far beyond a single player, team, or game and strikes at the heart of confidence in the league's officiating. For many observers, the issue is no longer about one fine or one controversy. It is about whether the WNBA can maintain trust when concerns about fairness continue to grow. Sophie Cunningham has become one of the most visible voices in this debate. While she acknowledges that officiating is an extremely difficult job and that mistakes are inevitable, she argues that the pattern of inconsistent calls has become too frequent to ignore. Fans, players, and analysts have increasingly expressed frustration over decisions that appear inconsistent, particularly in high-profile games involving star players. The discussion intensified following incidents involving Caitlin Clark, where many supporters felt that questionable plays and physical contact went unaddressed. As these concerns spread across social media and sports discussions, Cunningham's public criticism brought renewed attention to an issue that many believe has existed for years. Rather than calming the controversy, the league's decision to fine her for her comments sparked even greater debate. What may have been intended as a disciplinary measure instead transformed Cunningham into a symbol of a broader movement calling for transparency, accountability, and improved officiating standards. Critics argue that the league appears more willing to penalize players for speaking out than to address the concerns being raised, creating a growing disconnect between the league and its supporters. Comparisons are often made to other major sports organizations, particularly the NFL, where controversial officiating decisions are routinely analyzed and debated in public without the same level of concern over player criticism. Supporters of greater transparency believe that open discussion helps build trust, while efforts to suppress criticism can have the opposite effect. As a result, the controversy surrounding Cunningham has evolved into a larger conversation about credibility, accountability, and the future direction of the league. Many fans worry that unresolved officiating concerns could damage confidence in the competition, while others see this moment as an opportunity for meaningful reform. Cunningham has insisted that her goal was never to create drama or attract attention, but rather to highlight concerns that many players already share. Her comments, podcast appearances, and willingness to accept the consequences of speaking out have turned her into a rallying point for those who believe change is necessary. As the debate continues, the WNBA faces an important decision: whether to directly address the concerns surrounding officiating and transparency or risk further criticism from the players and fans who want answers. The outcome of this controversy could influence not only perceptions of officiating but also the league's long-term relationship with its athletes and supporters. By dismissing concerns and increasing disciplinary measures instead of addressing the underlying issues, the league transformed what began as a relatively minor complaint into a much larger controversy. What started as one player's frustration has evolved into a broader debate about free expression, accountability, and the limits of league authority. The timing has only intensified the scrutiny. Questions are being raised about whether the WNBA provides an environment where players feel comfortable expressing concerns without fear of punishment. Critics argue that the league's response to public criticism appears inconsistent with its stated commitment to supporting athletes and fostering open dialogue. Comparisons have also been made between the treatment of outspoken players and the handling of on-court incidents involving high-profile stars such as Caitlin Clark. Many fans believe that certain physical plays and controversial moments have not received the same level of attention or disciplinary action as comments made by players about officiating. As a result, some supporters see a disconnect between the league's priorities and the concerns of its audience. The reaction from fans has been swift and passionate. Many have voiced frustration over what they perceive as a gap between the league's messaging and its actions. Social media discussions, petitions, and public debates have reflected growing dissatisfaction with both officiating standards and the league's handling of criticism. For these supporters, the issue extends beyond a single player or a single fine. Instead, it has become a symbol of broader concerns about transparency, consistency, and trust. Questions are being asked about why criticism of officiating appears to draw immediate disciplinary action, while other concerns raised by players and fans often seem unresolved. This perception has fueled calls for meaningful reforms and greater accountability. The controversy surrounding Sophie Cunningham has become a focal point in this discussion. Her fine sparked a wave of support from fans who felt that she was expressing concerns shared by many within the basketball community. While professional sports leagues commonly discourage public criticism of officials, supporters argue that the recurring nature of officiating complaints in the WNBA makes the situation different. They contend that addressing the root causes of frustration would be more effective than punishing those who speak about them. Cunningham's comments themselves were viewed by many as measured and direct rather than hostile, focusing on officiating performance rather than personal attacks. Nevertheless, the league's disciplinary response was interpreted by some as an effort to control the narrative rather than engage with the concerns being raised. As the debate continues, the WNBA finds itself facing important questions about its future direction. Critics argue that an overly defensive approach risks damaging trust among players and fans, while supporters of the league maintain that standards of professionalism and respect for officials must be upheld. Regardless of where opinions fall, the controversy has highlighted deeper issues surrounding transparency, communication, and confidence in the league's decision-making process. What began as a dispute over officiating has grown into a larger conversation about how the WNBA responds to criticism, balances authority with player expression, and maintains credibility with the community that supports it. The decisions made moving forward may have a lasting impact on the league's reputation and its relationship with both athletes and fans. The decision to fine Sophie Cunningham for publicly criticizing officiating ultimately brought far more attention to her comments than they might have received otherwise. Fans who may not have initially been aware of her remarks began seeking out podcast episodes and social media posts to understand why the league had responded so strongly. For many observers, the situation became an example of how attempts to suppress criticism can sometimes amplify it instead. Rather than ending the discussion, the disciplinary action intensified public interest and fueled broader conversations about officiating, transparency, and player expression within the WNBA. Many supporters believe that honest feedback from players can be a valuable tool for improvement. When athletes are allowed to openly discuss concerns, leagues have an opportunity to identify problems, strengthen trust, and demonstrate accountability. Critics of the league's response argue that penalizing public criticism risks creating the impression that image management is being prioritized over meaningful reform. They contend that unresolved concerns do not disappear simply because they are discouraged from being discussed publicly. Instead, those concerns can continue to grow and eventually become larger issues that attract even greater attention. The controversy also emerged during a period of heightened scrutiny for the WNBA. Media discussions surrounding player treatment, league culture, and the experiences of high-profile athletes added further visibility to the debate. As a result, some commentators questioned whether focusing on disciplinary measures against outspoken players was the most effective response at a time when broader concerns were already being examined. To these critics, the league's handling of Cunningham's comments appeared disconnected from larger conversations taking place around the sport. Beyond the specific issue of officiating, the situation has sparked discussion about the relationship between the league and its players. Some fans argue that successful sports organizations benefit from allowing athletes to express their personalities and viewpoints, helping create stronger connections with audiences. They point to examples from other leagues where outspoken players and commentators have become some of the most recognizable and influential figures in the sport. In contrast, they worry that excessive restrictions on public criticism could discourage authentic engagement and make the league appear less open to dialogue. Cunningham herself emphasized that officiating is a difficult profession and acknowledged that many referees work hard under challenging conditions. Her supporters argue that her comments were focused on performance and accountability rather than personal attacks. Nevertheless, the fines reinforced concerns among some fans that even measured criticism may be met with punishment. This perception has contributed to growing support for officiating reforms, greater transparency, and clearer communication between league officials, players, and fans. The strong reaction from supporters demonstrates that the issue extends beyond one player or one disciplinary action. Petitions, online discussions, and public debate reflect a broader desire for accountability and improvement. For many fans, the controversy has become symbolic of larger questions about leadership, trust, and the future direction of the league. Whether the WNBA chooses to address these concerns through reform, communication, or other measures remains to be seen, but the discussion has clearly highlighted the importance of balancing league authority with openness to constructive criticism. As the debate continues, many observers will be watching closely to see how the league responds and whether this moment becomes a catalyst for change or simply another chapter in an ongoing controversy. What do you think? Can the WNBA address concerns about officiating and transparency while maintaining respect for league policies, or will controversies like this continue to generate debate? Share your thoughts, and if you enjoyed this discussion, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more updates and analysis.